All right, Shalom. First and foremost, of course, all praises unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Um, Now this image here, I just took this the other day when I was out and about. The spirit just jumped on me because I seen these. I thought it was most likely a couple. It might have just been two friends, but that's irrelevant. Their relationship is irrelevant towards the topic of discussion. The reason I snapped this picture was to simply show how, as we said, that confusion of faith Israelites um, are people who look like the other heathen nations, but on their father's side of the family, if they go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then they still can receive salvation, even though outwardly they will look like the other heathen nations. Now, I will address that confusion of faith can also mean shamefaced. That is true. However, confusion of faith can also be used to describe a Israelite who looks like the other nations, but they go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob on their father's side of the family. Or in other words, they go back to one of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And that's all that's required for one to receive salvation, is to go back on their father's side of the family to one of the 12 tribes of Israel. And if the person does not go back to one of the tribes, well, then that person cannot receive salvation, because salvation is only for the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. What is that? Matthew the 15th chapter. Who the world calls Jesus said, I come for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Yeah, the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Which we'll get into that. But going back to the picture here, you see a so-called Negro man, a so-called black man, with a Edomite-looking woman. Okay, now why is this important? It's very simple. Because if this man and this woman lay together, and she ends up getting pregnant by this black man, there's a possibility that the child might come out being white, all right, or being a light shade of brown. And then let's say if that child, right, assuming that it's a male, that child grows up and then it sleeps with another white woman. And let's say that same process happens another 2 times. Well, then over time, that same child is going to come out lighter and lighter and lighter until you have this black man who sleeps with a white woman, and the child comes out looking completely white. All right? That's how you get confusion of faith Israelites, or Israelites who look like the heathen nations. Okay, and that's why John saw, what is that? Revelation, the 7th chapter, 7 and 9. It says, and after these things I saw, those who were, let's even go ahead and get it real quick. Why quote it? Let's go ahead and get the scripture. Bear with me a second. And a fun fact as well, the prophet Ezra also saw the same thing that John saw. Not sure on what chapter it's in, but it is in the Holy Apocrypha, and I believe it's the second book of Ezra's. Let's see. It says, and after this I beheld and lo, a great multitude which no man could number, of all nations and kindreds and people, and tongues stood before the throne and before the Lamb, clothed with white robes and palms in their hands. But again, what were these people? Literally from all different nations, because they use this to see, everybody can receive salvation because it says these people came from all nations. You have to understand that it's talking about these Israelites who were taken from all the nations of the world, because we've been scattered throughout the whole world, man. We've been scattered throughout all the nations of the world, the 12 tribes of Israel. Okay, so you're going to have Israelites who look like all these different tribes and nations. That's why he got confused here, because it's like, wait, what are these people? Why are there white people here and mixed people? Why are these people here? That's why he said out of all nations and tongues, because they were really Israelites of the 12 tribes. But he didn't know that because he was describing it the way he saw it, okay, to make it simple to understand. Okay, so once again, we're going to go back to the image. This Israelite man, if he was to lay with this Edomite woman, the child could come out looking mixed, okay? But or to say it correctly, he could come out, or she could come out looking like a lighter black, okay? Or some instances, she could be completely white or completely black. All right, it just depends on, what happens. It just depends on it. Okay, nobody can really make a prediction of what the child's going to look like. That's why you have Israelites who are, darker skin color and lighter skin color. Okay? So again, if this man was to lay with this woman, their child, assuming it's a male, will grow up and sleep with another woman of the white skin color. And if that keeps going on, eventually children are going to come out looking completely white. Okay, but guess what though? They're still Israelites from the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, but they outwardly look like they're of the nation of Edom. Okay? So this is why we've been telling you people that you are going to have some people who look like so-called white people who are going to receive salvation. Okay? You got idiots out there talking about, oh, well, all white people can't receive salvation. No, you're going off, man. That's going off because according to the scriptures, you're going to have Israelites who look like white people. Okay, so the scriptures say the Lord judges not off the outward appearance. Okay, so you can't just say, oh, well, this person's this skin color, so that means that he's Esau. You can't do that, man. Okay, because you're going to have some people who look completely white who are going to actually receive salvation. But on the flip side, you're also going to have people who are black skin who are going to be destroyed because they ended up being chocolate-covered Edomites. That's why the scriptures say, not all Israel are of Israel. Okay? It's very, very simple to understand. All right, it goes by the, what's the word I'm looking for? It goes by the father side of the family. Okay, that's why we said they had to, go by the father's side in order to, determine if the child is an Israelite or an Edomite, because you can't go by the mother's side of the family. You have to go by the father's side. That's why it tells you in the book of what is that? I believe it's let me think. I believe it's Numbers, the first chapter. It says, and they numbered them by their father's side of the family, by 20 years old and upwards. But the point is, it said by the fathers. It does not say the mothers. It says the fathers, because that's all that was important. Okay, and you can read it yourself. It's in Numbers, the first chapter. So pretty much that's all I wanted to elaborate on was this. The Spirit just jumped on me when I saw it, and I said, oh, well, look, this is a great lesson opportunity to go ahead and, just take a quick, pick of this couple here, or, what I assume to be, and, make this lesson on it, man. Okay, because it's very simple to understand. I mean, this is easy peasy at this point. This is easy peasy to understand that you're going to have Israelites who look like all these nations. Okay, so if you guys can't see it, man, well, then you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, if you can't see this, then you're lost. It's that simple, man. Okay, if you don't understand confusion of face Israelites, then you're going off. Okay, and if your congregation is not allowing people to join you simply because they're white, well, you're going off. Okay, and yeah, we acknowledge that majority of white people are of the nation of Edom, according to the scriptures, the red man. Because nobody has white skin. This woman here technically is not white. She's actually red. You know what white is? Go get a garbage bag. That's white. Does your skin color look like that if you're a so-called Caucasian? I'm a Caucasian, outwardly, but, through my spirit, I go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, all right, on the father's side of the family, going back generations and generations. Okay, that's what matters. Okay, so you're going to have brothers who look like myself, but through, the generations, we go back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. Okay, I'm from the tribe of Issachar, which are the so-called Mexicans. But that's a story for another time. Let's see. Anything else I want to elaborate on here? Pretty much that was just that was pretty much all I wanted to address here with this image. Okay, so this basically completely silences any congregation out there who is teaching a false doctrine, man. Okay, you see these groups that only have black people in it. They don't accept white people into the congregation, and they claim to to teach the scriptures, but they stumble at this topic. Why is there a white boy in your camp? Well, because that brother, he sincerely believes so he could be an Israelite. The scriptures tell you, what is that? Daniel, the 12th chapter, that none of the wicked shall understand. The wicked shall do wickedly, and none of the wicked shall understand. So, as I said, man, this is plain and simple, easy peasy to understand. Anybody who's not teaching this doctrine does not know what they're talking about. It's that simple. Okay, so if there's Israelite leaders out there who have their pages and they're not teaching this doctrine, stay away from those guys. Okay, but anyway, I just wanted to go ahead and show that real quick. I hope that was edifying. With that being said, I want to say shalom.